Alright, welcome back, you beautiful souls, to the next installment of What If Naruto Was a Hybrid Saiyan? In the last part was, I know, was a little dry and a little little here and there, but it was needed to kind of set up like these consecutive parts. The next few parts will be much better quality and a lot more fun, in my opinion. So where we last left off, Naruto basically convinced, like during that hours, he convinced Sasuke to go along with this plan. And with the changes of Naruto being really good at taijutsu, being one of the best in the class, and also Sasuke knowing that Naruto is really smart when it comes to combat, decided to listen to him in this. Like in this, Sasuke for some reason doesn't like Naruto, but it's not because of like Naruto being clanless like in canon or all this other stuff. It's the fact that Naruto just see every single time they fought when they were in the academy, each consecutive time he was just stronger and stronger, and it just infuriated Sasuke, him being the quote unquote last Uchiha. We all know that's a bald faced lie because there's at least two others confirmed that we know about, plus spoiler, I don't care about Boruto that much. There's also a couple more, but that's neither here nor now. So we start our story off with the month of training of side of like D rank missions and stuff like that they do in canon. The I thought about this part. I thought about this section of the timeline, and the only thing notable that I could think that would really happen during this time is two things. One, Sasuke actually learns how to activate his Sharingan. Unlike in canon during the Land of Waves, where he has one Tomo in one eye and two Tomo in the other, he only has the one Tomo Sharingan in each of his eyes. And this is simply because, well, he knows Kakashi has the Sharingan, and he would ask Kakashi like more about like how he got the Sharingan and everything. And Kakashi being around Obito, and then being as close as Kakashi's team was before like all the sad things happened to them, he would know how the Sharingan is activated, and he would explain this to Sasuke and actually help him out. Because Kakashi is a teacher, and he would see that Sasuke is trying to improve, and he would think this would be a good way for him to catch up with Naruto, kind of. And in Kakashi's mind, in the last part I mentioned, Kakashi's eyes went wide-eyed when Naruto was rubbing his head. He Kakashi was having flashbacks of Minato. Like he was because Naruto, he really looks more like Minato in this than he does in canon. It's kind of like how Goten looks like Goku. Like he's literally a carbon copy as far as like his design goes, up until he gets into his teens and he lets his hair grow out and everything. Because hybrid Saiyan's hair does change as they get older, unlike Saiyans, where once it reaches like a certain point, that's how long it'll get. But I mean, like they are able to grow facial hair and stuff like that, but that's neither here nor there. Another notable thing that would happen during this time would actually be that Team 7, like Sasuke, actually gets closer to Naruto and, well, Hinata in this case, than he did with the with the canon Team 7. One, you don't have the fangirl thing happening, and that's something that even in canon kind of annoyed Sasuke. And two, with after he learned, like, and I would say it took him about a week, 2 weeks to learn how to activate his Sharingan again. And so the last 2 to 3 weeks during that time, the sparring with Naruto after their missions, he would come to respect Naruto a lot more than he did in canon, and actually really think of him as someone. And during that time, he would, like, Naruto would, just his personality of always wanting to fight a strong person, would actually ask Sasuke, like, who's the person he wants to kill. And Sasuke would eventually say that he wants to kill his brother for massacring his clan. And Naruto being a Saiyan, having that wanting to fight, would make a pact with Sasuke that they would get stronger together, and that way he definitely can accomplish his goals. Because Naruto is more goal set. He has something in the back of his mind constantly. He's talked to Kurama, and mind you, this is the good side of Kurama, so Kurama's not going to actively fuck over Naruto like he did in canon. And Naruto would have the goal of actually doing what his parents was. Now, he still keeps it from his teammates that Minato was his father. At this point, he full well knows that Minato Konoha of Konoha, I forget what I named him, and I'd have to look at my first part, but his last name isn't Amikaze in this, and Kushina Uzumaki is his mother. He full well knows this. He still hasn't undone the seal because Kurama isn't kind of trying to gold him into, like, actually releasing him. Like, because this Kurama, the good side, is more cooperative. It actually explains more about what a Jinchuriki is to Naruto. And they do develop somewhat of a working relationship. Kurama will heal Naruto when he gets hurt, but still refuses to give the dang child, like, his chakra. There's still a little bit of dislike for humans in this. And mind you, because of the Reaper Death Seal, the good side of Kurama and Minato's spirits were kind of bound together. So Kurama, like, yeah, they were kind of quote-unquote dead. He was still with Minato all those years. So basically, I'm fairly certain the reason why Minato was able to instantly go into KCM when he was revived was because they had already worked out the issues with that anger. So that's basically what's Naruto still will, and he will be able to befriend Kurama a lot sooner than he did in canon, just because this is the good side of Kurama. But Naruto also talks to Kakashi about his father, and Kakashi is surprised that he knows about it. And Kakashi's the only one that knows Naruto has this scroll from his parents, and he says, "Yeah, I learned about who my parents are from, well, their will and a letter they wrote, a scroll they wrote for me. And Kakashi-sensei, please teach me, like, everything you know about my father." Kakashi, being the person that he is, would train Naruto a little bit more than what he did in canon, because this Naruto is getting stronger. Like, for Christ's sakes, he already, like, at this point, he would know tree walking, and the other two are slowly learning this. They do start learning tree walking, I would say, a few days before the Land of Waves, and because Naruto is getting screwed over by Kurama, pumping chakra into him to kind of weaken the seal, and that's another thing. The seal that was placed on Naruto is a little bit stronger, but because the good side of Kurama was placed inside of Naruto, it's a little different. Kurama can talk and help Naruto, but it would take a lot more chakra to degrade the seal than faster than what it did, as fast as it did as Kurama did in canon. But good Kurama not actively screwing over Naruto, this isn't the case. So now we make it. So now we get to like the day that Team 7 gets to assign the Land of Waves mission. Naruto, he's been looking through a scroll, and there's a section of it that is completely blank and he can't read it. But before that, it reads, you would have to look at this scroll with those eyes once you've unlocked it. And at the end of the scroll, before his mother writ, like before the section that his mother writ for him about the chakra chains and everything, so he will eventually learn how to use his chakra chains. And he's wondering, like, what eyes is he talking about? So they get to the Hokage's office, and unlike in canon, Sasuke and Naruto and Hinata would have actually asked Kakashi for a tougher mission. Like, their teamwork has gotten really, really well, almost to the point that they don't, like, him and Hinata are kind of at the point where they don't really need to talk to each other, and they understand what the other's kind of thinking, and or knows what the other would be doing. Because, yeah, Hinata, and here's something I brought up in, I believe, part 0, but it could have been part 1. I know I definitively would have brought it up in part 1. Yeah, actually, I did bring it up in part 1. Because that was when I did the graduation, was in part 1. So Hinata with her with our Byakugan and spying on Naruto did see the hand signs, and she would, that I actually just realized that's one thing notable, that she would have actually asked Naruto about this, and Naruto would, because he knows what the Shadow Clone Jutsu, the negatives and the benefits for it, he would explain it to her. And Hinata would actually work on the jutsu during this time, and she would be able, with her current level of chakra, be able to create 1 shadow clone no problem. 2, she would start seeing the effects of chakra exhaustion, and 3, her life could be threatened by it. So this has the added effect of her sparring with herself on the when she's not sparring with Naruto and Sasuke, that she would learn more about like she would her 30, I'm fairly sure she'd be knocking on the door of getting the 32 palms down, because she would learn how to counter, like, her family's taijutsu, because she's trading with someone that is equal of her standing with the skill, and it would refine her skill. Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata would definitely be much stronger than canon Team 7. Obviously, with Sasuke having the Sharingan and Naruto being right up there with him as far as power goes and skill. Except Genjutsu, Naruto is just going to be shit for that until he gets Seizu's Passion. Which eventually will happen, but that's just a minor bonus. Which you'll see why. So they're in the Hokage office, and unlike in canon, Naruto it hasn't gone there. It's actually Kakashi that made the request. And he's like, Lord Third, my team, we need a. I'm fairly certain they're ready for a B rank mission, or for a C rank mission. Sorry. Again, Hiruzen's like, is smoking on his pipe, and his man's like, maybe. Bring him in, Kakashi. There's actually a mission that we just got, and it's an escort mission and a protection detail mission. And he kind of explains the gist of it while the bridge builder is being brought in. The other three, and just like in canon, the bridge builder says, all these getting don't look too much like anything. And this pisses Naruto off, and he kind of flexes a little bit of his chakra mixed with his ki, something he's been doing. He's been thinking of like a whirlpool, and this is how the scroll, how he and Kurama did it, because Kurama said if you do need more chakra, I will help you out with the lid. And they're at that point where Kurama will give Naruto a little access to some chakra, not flooding with it or the fist bump stuff, but Naruto can have a little bit of chakra in dire situations. And Kurama, through talking with Naruto, explains the idea with his clan about the whirlpool, because how he spent 15 plus years with Kushina. He spent definitely 10 years with Kushina. He saw a bunch of stuff with the seals and stuff in hand jutsus and everything, the hand signs for jutsus. Another topic for another time. And this kind of shocks, because even though Tazuna can't sense chakra, I'm fairly certain he can't. He can feel the pressure, and this even shocks his teammates. And Naruto then just puts his hand behind his head and goes, "Sorry about that. I just got a little worked up. I hate it when people look down on me." And he says that with a very serious look, staring at Tazuna. And Tazuna kind of gulps a little bit, and he's like, "Well then, maybe you guys aren't as useless as I think you are." So they make their preparations, they meet out, and they just, as they're waiting on Sasuke, they just see him running, and he just kind of grabs his teammates. He's like, "Let's get the hell out of here now." And so Naruto kind of laughs, and he's like, "Fangirls again?" "Shut up!" So, "Shut up, Naruto! Let's just get out of here. Kakashi, Kazuna, sir, let's get out of here." So they leave, and when they get to the Demon Brothers, Sasuke actually throws kunais at the puddle, and so does Naruto, and also, damn it, Hinata. For some reason I couldn't say the name. They all throw kunais at the puddles. And the Demon Brothers then see that Naruto is looking at them with a death glare. Hinata has our Byakugan on, and Sasuke has his Sharingan activated. Kakashi's just looking at his team and he's like, whoa, I didn't think they would notice it. And needless to say, the Demon Brothers are dealt with pretty easily. Naruto still gets poisoned, and he basically he does what he does in canon, and he makes the promise that he'll get stronger so something like this never happens again. And Hinata freaks out when he stabs his hand, and then he just basically squeezes his hand and a bunch of blood comes out. Hinata rushes over to him. He's like, Naruto-kun, are you okay? And Naruto pulls a rag out and wipes his hand, and he says, yeah, I'm fine, Hinata-chan. I just had to drain my blood to, like, get rid of the poison. Gosh, he's like, very, very smart. He's obviously thinking this. When they encounter Zabuza for the first time, that pretty much goes like it does in canon, with it being a little bit more in Team 7's favor. At this point, Naruto, you'll find out later in the video why. But during this fight, he something in him begins to stir. Like, he gets a little angry, a little bit more angry than he did in canon, and his ki starts to well up. And even Zabuza's surprised about this. They can't sense ki, but they can feel he feels the pressure, the increase in pressure around Naruto, and also his chakra increased a little bit. So, just like in canon, the first encounter goes with Zabuza. But afterwards, after Haku is able to get away with Zabuza, Naruto actually brings up the fact that that's kind of weird. Isn't Hunter Nen supposed to take care of the body, like, then and there? She's like, yeah, you're right, Naruto. I don't think that was the last that we've seen there. It just means that we've got to be a lot more careful now. And they do, and Kakashi is about to call off the mission in Kaden, but Naruto says, no! I want to fight those bastards again! And this shocks them. Even Hinata is a little shocked by this. A little bit more and more of Naruto's Saiyan side had come out in this fight, and he got a little bit more angry, but he actually got more thrill with the fight, because for the first time in his life, he's actually been put in that spot where it's a do or die kind of situation. And it was exhilarating from him. That Saiyan blood kind of got pumped. And Kakashi's like, so he is like Sensei. Sensei was a nice guy, but kind of changed every single time he got into a serious fight. When he actually got serious. So they get to Kazuna's house, and things like in canon progress, but they already know tree walking by this point. So the training exercise that they would go through in this would actually be water walking. And unlike the tree walking, Hinata would actually be the one that gets this first, just because of her whole thing is like extreme chakra control. And when I said Naruto got tree walking first, it wasn't because Naruto had better chakra control than Hinata. It's just Naruto had already started to learn the basis of this from Hiruzen. And because Hiruzen did take a more active role in raising Naruto in this, he did train him a little bit on the times that he was able to. And in this, Naruto has more of a connection with Zabuza. We'll play a little bit in future parts. But when, God dang it, what was his name again? Shoot, I actually didn't write the grandson's name down. Shoot. One moment, I actually got to look this up because it's actually bothering me. Sorry about that interruption, but that was just really annoying me. So the interactions with Inari is actually going to be quite different than it was in canon. Inari goes into the spiel about like his father and everything, and it's very unlike in canon. Naruto just tells him to shut the hell up. You don't know anything about pain. Real pain. I didn't have anyone except one person. And my parents died protecting me. The day I was born, my parents died. At least you knew your parents. Sasuke says, damn, Naruto, I lost my clan too, but that was a little bit much, as Inari goes running out and Hinata just is looking at Naruto like a little shocked, and then he looks at Hinata and he's like, I'm sorry, it's just fight ever since we fought Zabuza, I've just been feeling angry at my own weakness. And well, he says, and then Hinata's like, Naruto-kun, you said your parents died when you were born protecting the Leaf Village. Does that mean? Kakashi immediately says, don't, that's neither here nor now. We can't talk about that like in public. But we're not in public, Kakashi-sensei. And then he just kind of points to Kazuna and his daughter. Naruto sighs and he goes off to find Inari. And when he comes across Inari, like in his room, he knocks on the door and he's like, Inari, I'm sorry, it's just, can you let me in and so I can explain myself? So Inari opens the door and he's sniffling, and Naruto kind of hugs him. He's like, I'm sorry, it's just my whole life I've had a burden. I grew up in a village that most people didn't like me. I had Gramps, and he was the only one that really cared about me. And so I understand, okay? But if you want to get strong, I can teach you a few things if you want. Inari like wipes his tears and he's like, do you mean that? And Naruto's, yeah, like, wouldn't the best thing to honor your father is to get stronger than him so that you can protect people like he did? Inari, like, but that's impossible. And Naruto then explains how when he was younger, he used to pull pranks and everything, and he was fairly weak. And then he kind of smiles and is like, and if it wasn't for my friends, my teammates, I wouldn't be as strong as I am today. You know, having someone that you want to protect is what makes someone strong. So, you want to protect your grandfather and your mother, right? So, how about this? After our training today, I'll show you a few things and help you out. So they do their water walking training and everything. Naruto meets up with Inari. He tells Sasuke and Hinata that he's got to go. He has something he has to do. Hinata and Sasuke being a little bit uh, curious about this because Naruto never stops training like that. So Sasuke's like turns to Hinata and is like, "Should we follow him like you used to?" And Hinata kind of blushes, like, "Sure." Like, I'm a little curious too. So they end up following Naruto, and they follow him into the woods, and he's with Inari, and they see that he's actually teaching him some hand-to-hand combat techniques, stuff that they actually never seen Naruto use against them. And he then explains to him that there's two types of energies in this world. There's chakra, and there's something that me and my father have. And other people have it too, but it's in low quantities. But if you do these workout regimens, you can actually increase that energy. And well, you seem like you have some chakra too, and these exercises do help out with chakra as well. And this is when Sasuke lands next to him and knocks Naruto on the head. It's like, don't be giving out secrets of the leaf. Naruto then says, yeah, I wasn't trying to, Sasuke. Hinata, you can come out now. I know you're there. I can always sense you, you know. Hinata walks out of the bush, like, kind of blushing a little bit. And Sasuke kind of rolls his eyes, like, Naruto, you're so dense. And even Inari is like, are those two together? But then all three of them explain, like, a little bit about their backstory. And this makes Inari a little bit... And then they kind of leave and they ask Naruto if he's coming. And Naruto's like, no, I have some things I want to work out. This leads to Naruto spending the rest of the next day or so. He says, I'm going to be training by myself. There's some things I need to work on that only I can, and I've asked Kakashi Sensei about it, but he doesn't know much. And he said that I should hone these techniques since we've gotten water walking down. So he meets Haku. Immediately Naruto's on guard because he senses, and ever since the fight with Tazuna, he's been able to sense people more easily. He doesn't necessarily have to concentrate as hard as he used to have to. That's another thing that developed. And Haku's like, for some reason, this person's aura or something about them is familiar. So he is on guard, and when Haku leaves, he says that, oh, and by the way, I'm a guy. Naruto goes, what? Okay. Naruto questioning everything he knows now. And he does develop that somewhat new friends, because Naruto's kind of like Goku, always wanting to better people to be better. So this leads to Naruto, he oversleeps, like in canon, and when he makes his way to, like, the bridge, he notices other people. He notices somebody making their way to Tazuna's house. So he quickly weaves some hand signs, but then he, instead of saying shadow clone, he says key clone, go. And it's the Shadow Clone Jutsu, but with ki infused in it. That way, because he doesn't know what these people are, and he wants this clone to be able to deal with them. So he gives it a little bit of ki, and also the amount of chakra. He gives it about 5% of this chakra reserve, which should be more than enough. Like in canon, Inari and his mother is saved by Naruto, but as soon as like the bad guys are tied up, he tells Inari and everything that they should probably seek some safety, and then immediately, poof, it poofs out of existence. And this is about the time that he gets to the bridge, and he sees what's going on with Sasuke. And then he gets the memories from his clone, and he gets a little bit more angry. And he's just getting angry, he jumps in. And like in canon, Naruto jumps in, and things play out a little bit like in canon. But unlike in canon, they are able to dodge more Senbons. But Naruto gets caught off guard, and like in canon, Sasuke takes all these Senbon needles. Naruto, is stood there, and he's holding Sasuke as more Senbons come rushing into Naruto. And he's just standing there. He begins to shake with anger. And he's like, You killed my friend! And with that, everything in the world just freezes. And even Kurama's like, Naruto, calm down. But did Haku just sees it? He sees this weird green, yellowish aura envelop Naruto, and bits of red are marked into this. And even Hinata's a little bit scared by this, because Naruto's normal aura, like his normal happy-go-lucky aura, is replaced by this somewhat menacing aura, and then Naruto snaps, and he screams out. The Senbons get shoot flying everywhere, and this even one hits Hinata in the shoulder, and blood is drawn. Naruto begins to bulk up. His hair stands up in a very, it's sticking up on ends. And then when he opens his eyes are yellow, and he goes, You! And then he sees Hinata, and he screams out even more, and then the red chakra starts enveloping him. He grabs Haku, tosses him. Haku hits a tree, gets knocked out, falls to the ground, and then he turns his sights on Zabuza. You! If it wasn't for you, Sasuke would have never been here! And at this, Naruto's eyes just go white. And he begins attacking Zabuza. He eventually hits Zabuza. He grabs the blade when Zabuza goes to attack him, and he just cracks the blade. Naruto then, he's lost all minds. Even Kurama is kind of scared at this. And Kakashi, for all his battle senses, he is a little bit scared about this, because he was there during the Nine Tails attacks. He senses the Nine Tails chakra. But this other sensation that's coming off of Naruto is more troubling. He's He's sensed this once before, and it was the day that his sensei Minato found out about the death of Obito, and he's like, he's definitely Sensei's child. And then after he's done dealing with Zabuza, like he basically punches Zabuza, and Zabuza goes flying off the bridge, hitting the water. Kakashi's trying to calm down, like Naruto, and unfortunately, Kakashi's even brought down by this. And then the Zabuza's man show up, and this adds even more fuel to the flames because he talked with Inari. Like, he knows God damn it, whatever the fuck that dude's name is. I mispronounced it. It isn't Tasna. It's the crime lord, and he at this point has completely lost it, and he actually starts um killing like the headman. And then he gets to the crime lord, and he just crushes his head. And Hinata jumps like at Naruto. Naruto just grabs her by the throat and is squeezing and squeezing. And Hinata goes, Naruto, calm down. No, please, this isn't you, Naruto. Naruto didn't, like, his eyes returned to yellow, and then they turned back to his normal blue. He drops Hinata, and he starts crying. He's like, Hinata, then he just hears, then he's like, wait, Sasuke is alive. And he drops from the amount of chakra that was flowing through his body, the amount of ki that he was expending, the transformation of going through like the first time he accessed this was enraged like his father. Kakashi, like, a little bit worn, more beat up than what he was in canon. So stop here. I put up the poll because really, I was like, there is one way that they could survive. But, yeah, and when I say Naruto lost it, he literally lost it. He went berserk. A few days pass, and when Naruto wakes up, like, Haku is in the bed next to him. He immediately gets up with, like, and draws and, like, summons a kunai out of, like, a ceiling in his palm. Yes, because the best place to keep the scroll, Hiruzen taught him how to seal stuff, and Naruto seals the scroll into, like, his body. And he also was like, well, I should probably seal some kunais in my palms, just in case I run out or I'm in a situation where I'm disarmed of my kunai bag. Naruto's a little bit smarter than he is in canon, and he immediately puts the kunai to Haku's throat, and then a few moments later, like 1 second after that, he immediately feels pressure around his trunk, and he looks down, and he's like, Hinata? Naruto, you're okay, you're awake. And Hinata and Haku basically explained that after their contract was null and void because of like the person that that they hired them had been killed, and basically was told, like Zabuza was told by Kakashi the what short fat bitch told them, that he's glad that they were able to deal, that they got rid of that worthless trash Zabuza. That Zabuza made his apologies, but then Tazuna like hired him. You can't pay him now, but he can, if he helps finish the bridge, because he does have water clones, and also by this point Sasuke would have learned about the shadow clone technique, and also Hinata with the shadow clone technique, with one shadow clone, and Zabuza's water clone jutsu. They were able to finish the bridge a little bit sooner than canon. It will be named the Great Naruto Bridge, like in canon, because Naruto did help out the most. And in Naruto then asked them, then why aren't we already heading back to the village? Well, Naruto, Kakashi Sensei will explain that more. It was something to deal with that your recovery, like we shouldn't move you while you're being recovered. Plus we have, as like Naruto looks down and sees that Haku's actually has like his arm all fucked up and broken and like bandaged up. It wasn't good to move him either. Zabuza and Haku's going to be coming back to the village with us. Zabuza's wanting to stay. And with that, you beautiful souls, I'm going to end this part here. Let me know what you think about Naruto unlocking the Ikari form. Like I said, this is going to get a lot more choreographed with fights. This one, not so much, because I wanted to get the Land of Waves out of the way, and then we get to the real meat of the series, the interaction with Orochimaru. In the next part, we'll be going over the first parts of the Chunin exams. In the next few parts, we'll go over the training, and also Naruto's first named key attack will happen in the next part. Stay tuned for that, because Dragon's Rage will be coming. Like the video, it helps out with the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'm now trying to shoot for 10k subs by the end of this year. Hopefully I can get there, which I will most likely, with the way things are progressing. Hopefully I get there. Comment down below again what you think, and I will see you beautiful souls in the next video.